Thank you. So I'm very pleased to be among you and feel privileged to address such a distinguished assembly. Good afternoon to all of you. Today's subject, water, energy, food security, the famous nexus, is one of the biggest global challenges we have to face. And to start, just a few figures. Nearly 1 billion people currently suffer from hunger or malnutrition. At least 1.5 billion people across the world lack access to electricity. Nearly 1 out of 6 people across the world lack access to clean drinking water. 70% of all fresh water use is for irrigation. Of all the water on Earth, only 1% of it is usable by ecosystem and humans. And drought is the #1 threat to food supply in high population developing countries. And of course, global warming is sure to exacerbate droughts. And by 2050, the planet could have nearly 3 billion additional people to feed, with virtually no new croplands and no new sources of water. So the world will be very thirsty and hungry, and will be more and more thirsty and hungry. So the bottom line is this. For the moment, we're not doing a really good job of managing water, food, and energy and their interlinkage. And the future looks grim if we don't do anything about it. And so we face with an unprecedented challenge. Now, a few suggestions. However, amid all these challenges, there are some good news. The technology exists. There are many supports to research and innovation to take a more intelligent approach to the way we manage water. For instance, using information analytics to deliver improved outcomes right across water management life cycle, for instance. Many forward-looking utilities and businesses are already using technology to improve all good practices in energy, water, and food. So the potential for creative solution is there. Many cities, many economic actors, many institutions do something and they do well. But the question is, how can we make the most of it? And why don't we make it now? So may I suggest a few points? First, we have to make every effort to raise global awareness, because, of course, here, I suppose we are all convinced of the necessity to go forward in sustainable development. I'm not sure that's the case everywhere, and everyone on the planet, all people, poor people, or middle-class people, want to reach Western way of life, most of them, but globally, I think there is still a hope that one could reach the American way of life. That is the model that you find in all medias all over the world. So a sort of image of social success that induce a way of production, consumption, of transporting, of living with individual houses, car, garden, and so on. So we need education, we need to change first mind, we need a political will. Secondly, we have to take an integrated and collaborative approach to those problems. For instance, in agriculture, there are many initiatives for, I would say, a double green agricultural revolution, and we are in the country of the green revolution, but now we have to build a new green revolution with agroecology and directed to poorest people, to all rural populations, and not on only intensive and using much resources agriculture. And it's quite possible. Third, I think we must avoid a one-size-fits-all ideological approach. Let's be pragmatic and result-oriented. For instance, for water. Somewhere water is so vital to mankind that it should not be priced like other communities. Others insist water is mismanaged only because it's not priced. I don't think that kind of debate will take us very far. Surely pricing water is helpful. It's one way to signal scarcity and create the right incentives to better management. But we don't want a world in which people can't access clean water simply because they are unable to pay for it. So subsidization may be needed, and water is not easy to move and store. So if one part of the world is flush with water, and if another runs out of water, there's often no way to transport city-sized quantities of water from one city to another. So the water market, that's an example, however it's useful, it's not a panacea. At last, I would say that we were discussing this morning about Millennium Development Goals and the post-2015 agenda. And this year of 2015 will be a crucial year. It's a year to find a global agreement on climate. It's a year to find a global agreement on sustainable development goals linked to Millennium Development Goals. How do we manage to link those issues? We were talking this morning about access to energy for all. And access to energy for all did not belong to Millennium Development Goals. It's not the only one, but the world has changed so much in 20 years. So we have to interlink all these issues. And I think we will do it also with strong political institutions, with democracy, by associating people and in large debates, and build together some rules, some laws, some agreements, some contracts to go towards sustainable development for all, and especially for poorest populations. So we have 3 years now of very hard work, but I hope a century of sustainable and positive development for all if we give also much more place to cooperation than only competition. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.